Hello, I'm Janna and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today we're going to be creating an aurora borealis with some alcohol inks. I love alcohol inks, and of course if we're playing with alcohol ink then we've got to bring in some alcohol ink lift. Now today's card has been inspired by the Christmas Magic Vault set with the beautiful cityscape die. So we're going to be making a card featuring it, of course. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today's card has been inspired by this Sizzix die set from the Vault Christmas Magic. I love this. There are so many magical things going on right here. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this, but we're going to be creating a winter cityscape, and of course we're including the flying reindeer and the moon, and we're going to be playing with alcohol inks for our background. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and pull in our Yupo paper. This is by Ranger, and we'll just zoom in a bit so we can see what we're doing. Now, to start, of course, we need some blending solution. This will allow our colors to move around and blend. So putting a generous helping of that on there. And let's start with our darkest colors up near the top. And just a few drops because we're going to blend, and of course need some of the beautiful cobalt. Our first color was Vineyard, and I'm using my favorite color combination for Northern Lights. And now I want some Laguna. I'm going to start that at the bottom. Oh, that came out a little faster than I thought. And then a dash of Wild Plum in the middle. All right, let's start moving this around, and then we can add more inks as needed. So first things first, I want to kind of blend out that background up here. We just want to get the ink flowing. Ooh, I love the ink. It flows and it does very magical things. So you never quite know what to expect with alcohol ink, but you can expect lots of fun. So I'm using the ink blower tool to move things around, and I don't really have much of a plan at the moment because we're going to be moving the ink even more with another technique that's going to give us a drippy result, and I'm hoping it's going to get us some of the striations like we would see in Northern Lights. So let's just see how this goes. Now this is going to be a little odd because we're going to start all of that lovely dripping from the green side, because that is actually going to be the bottom of the card. The dark purple is going to be the top. And to get the effect I'm going for, we need to start the effect starting at the base of the card and working its way up. So, pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do is tilt the card base at an angle, and we're going to spray some isopropyl in order to get things moving. Now, you could add paper towels underneath to catch all of the drips, but I've got a cloth right here, and we should be able to get a pretty good view of what's going on just like this. So let's see. I'm going to move things forward just a little bit. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some isopropyl and we're going to spray it across the top, and then we're going to see all of that color start moving. Okay, let's see how it goes. And I'm just going to tilt that a little bit and see what happens. Ooh, that's looking really, really good. So I'm just kind of tapping that, tilting it. Okay, ooh, I like what I'm seeing. Now I just want to kind of dab off the extra at the bottom. All right, That's good. Now I'm going to freeze this just by running the Ranger heat tool over it to make everything kind of stop dead in its tracks. And take a look at this. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? That is just magical. I never know what I'm going to get when I use this technique, but I've played with it enough to kind of be able to guess at what it might do, but I find this to be absolutely magical every single time. This really does look like the aurora borealis, and we even got some really cool speckling going on just because of the way it dried when I added heat to it. That is too cool. Oh my word, that's so fun. Okay, so the next step is going to be to do a little bit of lift ink, and this is going to make a kind of like a cathedral appear in the sky, and this is just magical. I'm also pretty inspired by the Golden Compass, where they describe seeing a city in the air with spires and towers and turrets, and I just think that looks really cool. So I'm pulling in Architecture CMS 369, and I've got this great cathedral window to play with. This is going to look so good as we turn this into a cityscape. Very excited about this. So we're going to take that, and we're going to take some of the alcohol lift ink, and we're just going to tap that on here. Now, just like the embossing dabber, if you look at this and you see a shine, you've got ink. If you don't see a shine, then you don't have ink, and you better go back and add more. This is particularly hard to tell because this isn't nearly as viscous as the embossing ink is. It's a lot lighter, but the same principle applies. If there's shine, you've got ink. No shine, no ink. Go back and add some more. Okay, just want to make sure this is really inked up because I'm very excited about this particular technique and how the lift is going to look. All right. So we got that. I'm going to take this, and let's see. I'm just going to make sure that we're all lined up. All right, that goes here. And this is going to go right in the center. Okay. Good. And we'll just stamp. Good for impression. Now with this one, you actually want to kind of let the stamp rest a moment or two, just to give the alcohol lift ink a chance to start doing its job, which is lifting. Okay, so good firm pressure, and let's lift. Okay, looking good so far. And I'm just going to lift this up so you can see that we definitely have a stamped impression on here. You can see that it's kind of ghostly right now. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper towel and start dabbing that ink off, and we're going to lift that alcohol ink off of here to reveal a few layers down. So I'm going to grab some paper towels and we're going to start lifting. So we're just going to take this and gently dab. Now this takes a bit of time and a bit of patience, and every time you end up with a bit of color on the spot that you're using to lift from, then you need to change spots and use a cleaner portion of the paper towel. It's not nearly as obvious with the lighter portion of this, but you really start noticing it when we get into the darker section up here. Already we can start to see a bit more of that cathedral, but it's going to take us some time before we can do the full reveal, and the full reveal is well worth the wait. Right now we're just going to keep pressing and lifting until we're not getting too much ink lifted every time we're pressing down. So right now we're still getting quite a bit. Okay, time for a fresh piece. There we go. Okay, so just pressing and lifting, just kind of working my way around. There we go. It's already looking great, but the actual reveal, it's definitely a bit more noticeable after we do that. And we're getting pretty close to where we can start that process, because I'm pressing down and I'm not getting that much in the way of color coming off where my fingertips are. So that's a good sign. What we're going to do now is we're taking our little piece of paper, and I'm just going to turn this and hold it with another piece, and we're going to gently start to rub in circles, and this is going to do the full reveal. There we go, and I'll just change sides as we pick up more ink. And as you can see, the entire image is starting to come into focus, which is super, super cool. Okay, and on to the bottom portion. Just going to turn that, and we'll continue to just work in slow circles. There we go. Ooh. It's amazing. And it's like ghostly magic as it just appears. I can't get over this. Lift ink is really, really neat. And I don't play with it nearly as much as I should because really, this effect is just too cool. Okay, just kind of polishing up the little corner over here, making sure that we're all good. And then we'll take a closer look at what we've got. Okay. And I'd say we're good. Let's take a look. Oh my word, look at it. That is just magical. It looks like the cathedral is just appearing out of the aurora, just like I was going for. All right, so now we're into the scene building portion. So what we're going to do is we're going to place our cityscape down here, and I want to layer that with some trees. I also pulled in the die set from last year, I believe, Forest Shadows. And that, oh, that's not last year. This is from 2022. I use this one a lot. And I want to have the city kind of rising out of the trees like that. So we're going to line those up. Yep, just like that. And now we've got this really cool cityscape going on here. And then we're going to add in the reindeer going across the sky. Now, my biggest question right now is, should I just glue this flat or should I add some dimension? I'm kind of leaning towards gluing it all flat. And yeah, I'm going to have these guys going up like that. And then I'm going to put a moon in the sky. All right, that is just looking awesome. All right, so what I want to do next is grab the glue and we're going to glue in the cityscape. But the other thing that I've been thinking about is I really want to do something about the lights. I would love it if those were lit up. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do a very light trace. Oh, I don't know. It does look good, kind of ghostly. You know, I'm going to leave it. I don't want to mess with the background. I love that background way too much. So we're just going to go with that. Maybe the glass in the windows is reflecting the aurora. That'd be cool. Okay, so we're just going to go in right straight with the glue. Okay, not too heavy, but enough so that this will stick down. Okay. All right, and let's carefully place this. So that's going to go right about here. Good. And just gently placing that. Oh, that really does look good. I like it. Great, and now I want to add in the trees. So again, I'll just go in with a little bit of glue and we'll just add that right in. And I'll definitely have a little bit of trimming to do afterwards, but that's okay. Not a big deal at all to do a little bit of trimming once everything is set up. Oh, get back here. Get back here. Okay, and up the tree. There we go. Great. And we'll just take this and place that right here. Okay. That looks good. And I love how I was able to die cut a tag that I'd done some fun stencil work on. So I like that texture that we've got. Okay. And now for those beautiful reindeer and sleigh. Just a little bit of glue. Okay. Pretty good. And let's place that right there, just kind of skimming over the city. And the last things I'm going to need will be the moon and a sentiment. I want to put the sentiment right across the bottom because the sky is just too pretty. All right, so let's flip this over and we're going to do a little bit of trimming. I've got the mini tonic snips for that. So we're just going to carefully trim off those little extra pieces. Okay. Wow, this turned out better than I thought. Sometimes you have an idea and you can actually see it in your mind before you create it, and other times you just create and then are amazed by how you interpreted what was in your mind. But this time I am almost getting exactly what I was picturing. So that is neat. Okay. All right, let's go for the sentiment, and then I'm going to find a moon. So for sentiments, you know what? I want some label stickers. I think those will work well. All right, so I decided to grab some label stickers, and why not? Let's go with the obvious. Merry Christmas. All right, so we're just going to put that right down here. There. That is good. And now for a moon. Now I found the moon, believe it or not, in the Sizzix die set Ghost Town. It's a Halloween die set, but it was the quickest one that I could think of that had a moon in it, so why not? So let's see here. The moon should go here. And here we are. This is our completed cityscape Christmas card. Today we've been creating with the Sizzix die set Christmas Magic, and this is one of the From the Vault die sets. In the background, we started with some alcohol inks and used the drippy isopropyl alcohol technique to get a fantastic aurora borealis in the background. Then we were able to incorporate some lift ink to make a magical cathedral appear in the night sky. After, we layered up the cityscape and some trees from the die set Forest Shadows to create our magical landscape. And then of course we had to add Santa and his reindeer flying through the sky underneath a silvery crescent moon. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for more holiday magic. Until next time, happy crafting!